Imagine waking up to find your bank balance a little lower than you expected. Bills are due, and the weight of debt seems to keep piling up. You've been trying to dig your way out, but every time you think you're making progress, something else comes up. It's overwhelming, and honestly, it feels like the end of the tunnel is nowhere in sight. But what if I told you that paying off your debt doesn't have to feel impossible? There are strategies that are simple, effective, and can start working immediately. Stick with me, and I'll show you how to take control of your debt and feel the freedom of a fresh start. Debt is something that affects everyone, not just those living paycheck to paycheck. Whether it's student loans, credit cards, or car payments, debt can feel overwhelming. The constant stress of bills and the fear that no matter how much you pay, you're always falling behind is exhausting. But here's the thing, paying off debt doesn't have to be impossible. The reality is, many people approach debt the wrong way. You might be throwing money at your debts, hoping they'll go away, but if you don't have a strategy, you're not being as effective as you could be. Often, people focus on the wrong debts first. For example, paying off smaller debts might feel good, but ignoring high-interest debts like credit cards is costing you more in the long run. Debt can be a cycle, where you make progress, but life keeps throwing curveballs. And understanding how debt works is crucial. When you're paying high-interest debt without prioritizing it, you're just digging yourself deeper. A lot of people don't realize that it's not just about paying more, it's about paying smart. The good news? There are strategies that can help you pay off debt faster and save money. But it's not just about numbers, it's about your mindset. The right mindset will keep you focused and motivated. The goal isn't to make huge sacrifices, but to make smart choices that bring you closer to a debt-free future. In today's video, we'll dive into 5 strategies that can change the way you tackle debt. Stay tuned, because your journey to financial freedom starts here. Here's where things get interesting. A lot of people believe they're making progress with their debt, but they're actually paying more than they need to, especially when it comes to high-interest debt. The truth is, the way you tackle your debt can make a huge difference in how quickly you get out of it and how much you end up paying overall. And what most people don't realize is that focusing on the right debts first is key to making real progress. Let's talk about interest rates. It's important to understand how interest works because over time, it can end up costing you far more than the original balance. For example, credit cards often charge interest rates of 15%, 20%, or even more. If you're not paying that balance off in full every month, that interest is going to accumulate and it can quickly get out of hand. Think about this. You owe $1,000 on a credit card with a 20% interest rate. If you make the minimum payment of $25 a month, it could take years to pay it off, and in the meantime, you're paying hundreds of dollars in interest. That's the trap a lot of people fall into. They think they're making progress because they're paying down their balance, but in reality, the interest is making the balance grow much faster than they're paying it off. Now, let's talk about the common mistake most people make when they first start tackling debt. They focus on the smallest debt first, thinking that knocking out a small loan will give them a sense of accomplishment. This is known as the debt snowball method, and while it can be motivating in the short term, it's not always the most effective strategy. The problem is, if you're ignoring high-interest debt in favor of paying off smaller debts, you're losing money. Imagine you have $500 left on a loan with 5% interest, but you're ignoring your credit card with a $2,000 balance at 20% interest. You might knock out that $500 loan in a couple of months, but meanwhile, that $2,000 credit card debt is growing faster, and you're paying more in interest over time. This is where the debt avalanche method comes in. The debt avalanche method focuses on paying off your highest interest debts first. The goal is to minimize the amount of interest you're paying overall, which saves you money in the long run. With this strategy, you pay the minimum on everything else and put any extra money toward the highest interest debt. Once that's paid off, you move on to the next highest interest debt, and so on. It might not give you the immediate satisfaction of knocking out a small balance, but in the long run, it'll save you more money and help you pay off your debt faster. Understanding the power of interest is essential to paying off your debt more efficiently. It's not just about chipping away at your balances, it's about being strategic with your money. The longer you leave high-interest debts unchecked, the more you'll pay over time. But when you focus on those high-interest debts first, you'll watch the amount you owe drop much faster, and you'll save hundreds, even thousands of dollars in interest. But it's not just about the strategy. It's about the mindset behind it. Too many people focus on what's easy or feels good in the moment, but paying off debt is about being smart and patient. The road to financial freedom isn't always going to be fun or fast, but with the right strategy in place, the payoff will be worth it. Now, imagine being free of credit card debt or those high interest loans. Not only would you have more money in your pocket, but you'd also have more control over your finances. And this brings us to a question you might be asking yourself. What if you've been doing it all wrong? What if there's a better way to tackle your debt and save yourself years of interest payments? That's the question I'm going to answer in the next section. But first, think about where your money is going right now. Are you paying down the highest interest debts first? Or are you stuck in the trap of focusing on smaller, low-interest loans? This mindset shift is the key to making real progress. The sooner you start applying the right strategies, the sooner you'll see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, here's the twist most people don't see coming. Your mindset is just as important, if not more important, than the strategies themselves. You could have the best debt repayment plan in place, but if your mindset isn't aligned, it'll be tough to stay motivated. The real key to success is understanding that paying off debt isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's not about making huge sacrifices overnight. It's about making small, consistent changes to your financial habits. Every payment, every smart decision brings you one step closer to financial freedom. Most people think they need to make drastic lifestyle changes to get out of debt, but that's not the case. The trick is to create smart, sustainable habits that can stick long term. You don't have to deprive yourself or take extreme measures. You just need to focus on making the right choices regularly. The mindset shift isn't just about thinking, I have to get out of debt. It's about believing you can get out of debt and that it's possible with time and persistence. The journey to financial freedom is about patience, consistency, and believing that every small step is getting you closer to the life you want. Now that you know the 5 strategies to pay off your debt faster, I've got something even bigger coming in the next video. Imagine transforming your finances in a way that doesn't just pay off debt, but also starts to build wealth. Stay tuned, because I'm about to share a powerful investment strategy that could fast-track your financial freedom. Remember, your financial future isn't defined by your past mistakes. It's about what you do today to take control of your money and start building the life you deserve. You've got this one choice at a time.